Good day everyone, I'm Hurley of RFI Reviews here, back at it again with my review for the Hydis, but this time this is the Mylin. So basically, the Hydis Mylin is one of the recent or one of the latest IEMs by Hydis along with the MP145 Pro that I've reviewed earlier last like 2 months ago from them. Okay. But before I proceed, I'd like to thank Hydis for sending this unit to me and in exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core like I always do for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively, English isn't really my native language and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Okay. To give you an idea, the Hydis Mylin is basically almost has the same factor or the same presentation as what the Hydis MS2 Pro had. Since basically, in my humble opinion, the Hydis Mylin is a different flavor or a variant of the MS2 Pro. So the Hydis Mylin costs around $99 by the time that I record this review. Just like the MS2 Pro from what I remember, or probably the MS2 Pro is a bit cheaper or vice versa. But from what I know, this is a sub 100 USD or a 100 USD IEM. And spoiler alert, it kind of pretty much checks all the boxes of a 100 IEM should have. Okay, now let's go to the packaging. As for the packaging, just look at this one. The packaging on this one is I'd say it is quite unique, and at the same time it is in a fan service type of thing. I am not actually someone who looks for a fan service when it comes to the products, even if I am a fan of the said hobby, the said context. Like for example, I am a fan of Evangelion, but I usually do not collect Evangelion stuff. I pretty much collect Evangelion like the Evas, like the Unito 8, which was gifted to me by my girlfriend, or probably some Evangelion figures, specifically the units to be specific, because I just love how the concept of that unit is. But anyway, I am not a fan of fan service types of stuff when it comes to the hobbies, but I do understand where the Hydis Mylin is what's the purpose of the Hydis Mylin, aside from it as acting like a different flavor of the MS2 Pro. The Hydis Mylin is basically as what I would call it again, a fan service for those people who are new into hobby and wants a proper all-rounder sounding IEM. And one of the usually marketing tactics that the Hydis IEM or Hydis Mylin along with the other IEMs is they usually feature their mascot, and I would say that this one is pretty well done in my humble opinion. Just look at that. It doesn't seem to have any references, or they didn't use a hard reference here for them to let's say to have an inspiration when it comes to their mascot. So that's a thumbs up for Hydis, and this is pretty much unique from what I know. Just look at that. It is a beautiful, well thought of design, and I do love that violet accents to the Hydis logo right there. So as for the presentation, this is definitely a step above when compared to the MS2 Pro in my humble opinion. Okay, now as for the it's in reverse. As for the box here, this one it does also have a chibi version of that one. So if that matters to you, as you can see, this is still a 1DD 1BA just like the MS2 Pro with a with the impedance of 17 ohms with a sensitivity of 111 decibels. So the Hydis Mylin, just like the MS2 Pro, is pretty much easy to drive and will pair with most of your dongles just fine. However, I do recommend pairing I do recommend pairing the Hydis Mylin or the MS2 Pro as well with a warmer sounding dongle for the most optimal for the most optimal pairing. Okay. Now as for the everything that it comes with, so it basically comes with these, but this time the Heidi Smilin has an extra, again, like fan service, just like what I've been telling you earlier. Like for example, this one. As you can see here, this is how they presented the ear tips and how they presented the tuning filters. So it is all packed in this carton with some foam padding to it. It is really visually pleasing when it comes to the presentation. But if I were to nitpick, I had a hard time actually. I had a hard time plucking out the ear tips here because again, I don't have any nails or long nails as of now. So I had a hard time. But the one thing that I did, I'm not sure if this is the proper way on how to do this stuff, but the one thing that I did here is just like I used it like so. I used this, what do you call this? I used this 4.4 port and just like that. I'm not sure if that's how you do it, but it kind of worked for me. I never had any problems with that, so that's fine. And yes, it also has the tuning filters. And the extras that I've been telling you is like this one. It now has a cleaning cloth. I haven't opened it yet. But yes, it does have this cleaning cloth of the Heidi Smilin. Basically, the name of the mascot here is Smilin, from what I understand. It also has these chibi stickers, as you can see. And it also has this stand, as you can see here. It is very elegant, I must say. It is made of acrylic also, I must say. So, if you use this, like all of the acrylic stands that I have encountered, if you've used this long enough, it will introduce some scratches here and there, some random scratches here and there, and at the same time, it will probably catch some dirt. So, a cleaning of this one regularly, if you're a slightly perfectionist-ish person like me, will be necessary. Okay. And aside from the usual pouch, here's the IEMs itself and the cable. Yes, basically the Heidi Smilin comes with the you can purchase the Heidi Smilin with the 3.5 and 4.4 millimeter 4.4 millimeter termination. It isn't modular just like the MS2 Pro, so that could be a downer to some, but for most people the 3.5 millimeter would be just fine. It's just that I prefer the 4.4 millimeter because all of my sources and all of my IEMs are in 4.4 termination. Nothing too complex or anything. It's just more of a preference thing. And as you can see here, here's the Heidi Smilin in all of its glory. I do like that faceplate, that carbon fiber finish there. It is really unique in my humble opinion on how. Don't get me wrong. Most like a couple of IEMs has this type of carbon fiber thing going on, but I do love this one. I do love the design or on how they did the carbon fiber here with the Heidi Smilin, as you can see, because it looks like an obsidian. It looks like a rock to me. So that sure is something a bit different than the usual. And yes, these are made of metal and a little bit on the hefty side when it comes to the weight, but it isn't that big of a deal or too bulky for you to use it. It feels solid, but at the same time, it is still fairly lightweight in my humble opinion for a metal IEM. As you can see here, here's the other side. I do like that design a lot. Yes, it is very sleek. And the cable, yes, I'm not sure. I could be wrong on this one, but at the same time, I kind of remember on how the cable of the MS2 Pro felt when I reviewed it and when I still have it with me. But the cable on this one is... It seems that the shielding on the cable is a little bit thicker than usual. Yeah, it is a little bit thicker than usual, which I really like. I like this cable a lot, actually. I love this cable a lot because it is very simple. At the same time, it isn't bulky. It isn't that bulky for me to have a hard time using it because, as most of you know, I usually use my IEMs with whenever I'm outdoors, whenever I am commuting. So a cable like this, wherein it is noticeably durable and at the same time it is very simple and strands, is a really solid treat to me. Actually, I'd pick this cable over the stock cable of the Heidi's MP145 Pro. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only type of person who does not prefer that those thick cables. But yep, maybe that's just me. Okay? Okay. Now, as for the fit, comfort, and isolation, again, if you won't be having any problems here with the Heidi's Mylin, if you've already experience on how the Heidi's MS2 Pro fits. But if not, do not fear, because the Heidi's Mylin will fit most ears just fine. Of course, to those people with that has a smaller pair of ears, they may find the Mylin a little bit bulky or a little bit on the bigger side. But for most people with an average sized ear, you won't be having any problems, especially if you already have a, like, let's say, a KZ-IM with you, or a universal IM with you. You have used a universal IM with you. You won't be having any problems here with the Mylin. It will fit your ears just fine. Okay. Now, how's the sound? How's the sound of the Heidi's Mylin? Well, the Heidi's Mylin basically follows the Heidi's sound signature, wherein it is still mildly V-shaped, or as what they call it, Harman to them, their own Harman. But at the same time, this leans on the warmer side of things. This is basically the opposite, but not quite the opposite of the Heidi's MS2 Pro. Why is that so? Well, basically, the Heidi's MS2 Pro leans on the brighter side of things, while the Heidi's Mylin leans on the warmer side of things. So, to put it simply, the Heidi's Mylin is a mild V-shaped-ish sounding IM that leans on the warmer side of things. So, do expect that the Heidi's Mylin will sound a little bit thicker. Yes, a little bit thicker than the MS2 Pro, and warmer than the MS2 Pro, and also smoother, actually, than the MS2 Pro. Okay, now as for the bass, let's keep things simple, actually. As for the bass on this one is obviously elevated. Definitely, it is all elevated with a slight touch of sub-bass dominance here and there. There's still a mid-bass, but at the same time, it is a little bit lacking to what I prefer, because there are times that I find the bass a little bit lacking in texture, lacking in detail. It may come across as monotonous to some people. I'm not sure if it's only me, but I have tried it in a plethora of genres of albums. Like, for example, every 21 Pilots album that you could think of, every EDM, every Zedd, every Marshmello, basically every party, every Charlie XCX album that I could think of, or that I usually listen to, and it still has that monotonous character going on. Maybe because it is a little bit soft, or a little bit smooth, but at the same time, again, it has that character to it. But it is merely a nitpick, don't get me wrong. It isn't really a deal breaker, actually, in my humble opinion, because most 100 USD IMs nearly has this bass character. So yeah, as for the Mylin, I am glad that it has this character, wherein sure, it is monotonous, but at the same time, it doesn't smear to the mids. It gets its cleanliness, actually, because the attack and decay of this one is, I'd say, on the above average side, or on the faster side of things. So no problems, basically, no deal breakers or anything like that. Now, as for the mids on this one is definitely warm. It is definitely warm. It is thicker than the MS2 Pro, but some people may may prefer a little bit thicker than this, because the thickness of the mids of the Heidi's Mylin isn't, as what I would say, isn't that remarkable in a good way, but it isn't bad either. Like, there are a lot of IEMs that has this thick, smooth character, but this isn't the thickest that I have encountered, in my humble opinion. It isn't a good thing or a bad thing. Personally, I do like this. I do like this type of thickness, because it keeps its articulation, it keeps its versatility, because it isn't too thick, while delivering a very good sense of extension to the to the upper mids, and at the same time the presence to the lower mids or the mids, because it isn't that, what do you call this, it isn't that recessed. It has a mild recession going here and there, but it isn't noticeable at first actually. Now, as for the upper mids on this one again is well extended. It has a good amount of air. It has a good amount of, what do you call this? It has a good amount of clarity, of sharpness, just like any high-D side IEM that I have reviewed for the past years. But at the same time, it still, if I were to nitpick, it still has this peak, mild peaks here and there on very sibilant prone tracks that I have encountered. But don't get me wrong, again, this is far from deal breaker, because the peaks on this one are actually lower, significantly lower when compared to the MS2 Pros, like a lot lower. So in my humble opinion, even those people that has this very sensitive sets of ears will definitely enjoy the Mylin. Especially if they use the base ear tips and probably the base nozzles too, just like what I did at some point in time whenever during my testing period. Okay, now as for the treble in this one is well presented. It is well extended, it is smooth, and at the same time it has this slightly elevated presence, although not by a lot actually, in a good way, because it greatly avoids any potential sibilance, any potential excessive harshness here and there, while keeping the air, while keeping the extension, while keeping the detail retrieval really good. I had no problems hearing nuances here with the high-D Mylin. It pretty much levels itself with the 100 to sub 200 USD IMs really well when it comes to detail retrieval. Okay, now as for the technical chops like the sound stage, separation, layering, imaging, I was actually hesitant at first that at the back of my mind I said that probably the Mylin has less technical performance when compared to the MS2 Pro, because again, this is tuned to be a warm sounding set. Upon hearing it for the first time, and actually as right now, I was clearly wrong on that one, because I find that the technical chops of the Mylin and the MS2 Pro are almost identical, which is a really good thing, because of course a lot of people, or probably most people, do not prefer a bright or neutral sounding set like me, but they still want that technical capabilities that the bright or neutral sounding IEMs have. So I am glad and I am confident that the Mylin has that technical chops that the MS2 Pro has. So do expect a wider than deep sounding soundstage here with a very good amount of height. Do expect a very clean separation and layering here, because it handles my BC tracks, my BC test tracks really well. And the imaging on this one has no problems. It is as precise as it can get, just like the MS2 Pro. I never had any problems using it during whenever I watch movies, whenever I do conference calls, whenever I listen to podcasts, to live performances, to gaming, and all stuff like that. So again, you won't be having any problems with that. Okay, so let's make this quick. When it comes to these tuning filters, as you can see, the tuning filters is pretty much identical on what you'll see with the MS2 Pro, and probably on most high-D's IEMs. So the high-D's Mylin, just like the MS2 Pro, has these two extra sets of tuning filters, namely the silver nozzle and the black nozzle. So basically, the silver nozzle is the treble filter. It adds a little bit of treble presence and treble quantity at the cost of what? Well, the bass is greatly shaved off. The chunk of bass is greatly shaved off, and at the same time, it now has this mild peaks, or the peaks are slightly accentuated more than usual when compared to the stock pre-installed filter that the Mylin has. Now, as for the bass, what do you call this? The bass, or the black? Yes, the black filter. When used with the Mylin, it now adds more warmth. It now adds more bass to the overall sound of the Mylin, making it a more warmer, smoother sounding IEM. But at what cost? Well, the high-D's Mylin now is borderline dark to my ears, and at the same time, the technical chops are a little bit blurrier when compared to the stock ear tips. But do take note, at the end of the day, these findings are just like not really a night and day. You can like literally treat these tuning filters as spare filters, just in case the stock pre-installed filter here with the Mylin gets broken or goes kaput or goes missing or anything like that. So just like what I've been always doing, I treat the tuning filters of the Mylin as just spare. Yes, I treat it as a spare filters just in case. Okay. Now, where should I compare this? I should compare this again with the MS2 Pro, because the Hydis MS2 Pro is basically the brighter version of the Mylin. It's just that it has this detail retrieval a little bit better in the Mylin. It is now more accentuated. You can easily hear more nuances here compared to the Mylin, although not a lot, or like a night and day when it comes to their differences. As for the bass, of course, the Mylin is definitely the thicker and the bassier version of the MS2 Pro. No doubts there. Even when the MS2 Pro has this bass filter, the Mylin is still the thicker version, or the warmer version, or the bodied version of the MS2 Pro. So it is more of a matter of a preference on what you prefer actually. There isn't really a wrong or right here. Okay. Now, where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with the Sivgak UTG. So basically, this is the recent version of the UTG. Basically, the Sivgak UTG is a brighter sounding IEM. It is a brighter, more technical, more sterile, if you may, sounding IEM. Because that one has a glass driver, and the glass driver has this I'd say this technical capabilities that is quite unique actually. I remember that time wherein my discovery with these glass drivers is just like when the time that I have personally experienced the piezoelectric drivers for the very first time, and that was very, very nostalgic. Okay, when compared to the Mylin, yes, of course, the Sivgak UTG is a more leaner sounding IEM, but at the same time, it is more technically competent as well. The nuances are accentuated to the max. I'm not sure on how to put it in a non-hyperbolic way, but yes, it is now accentuated to the max. It is more sterile, it is more lean, and at the same time, it is less colored, definitely less colored than the Mylin here. But of course, the Sivgak UTG isn't for everyone, while the Hydis Mylin aims to target to be for everyone, or as the everyone's IEM, if you may. So the Hydis Mylin is the more versatile set between the two sets. Okay, now where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with my underrated favorite, the Venture Electronics UA Guangxi. Well, when compared, the Hydis Mylin is definitely the more articulate version of the Venture Electronics UA Guangxi. Why is that so? The Venture Electronics UA Guangxi is definitely a warmer, thicker sounding IEM, up to the point that it may come across as mellow to some people. But at the same time, it is also more smooth when compared to the Mylin, that it avoids any perceivable sibilance or anything like that. But at the same time, it kinda lacks the technical chops that a Mylin has, in my humble opinion, at the expense of the tonal performance. So pick what you prefer. Some people will definitely like the Guangxi. Some people will definitely like the Mylin. If I were to be asked, I would prefer the Mylin because of its versatility. Because the Mylin can keep up with any track that I throw at it, when compared to the UA Guangxi, that it kinda has better response on this genre, on that genre, but it kinda falls on that genre and this genre. Okay, and of course, the packaging and presentation is miles better here in the Mylin when compared to the Guangxi. Okay, now I'll switch to the Tagalog for a quick rundown of this review. Well, itong si Heidi Smilin is, hindi ko napapatagalin. Itong si Heidi Smilin is nasa 100 USD. So, 5,000 pesos na IEM. Na different flavor siya ng MS2 Pro. Yung MS2 Pro, kung tandaan nyo yung review ko, is neutral bright siya. Or neutral borderline bright. Medyo manipis yung tunog doon, and at the same time, hindi siya para sa lahat ng genre and para sa lahat ng tenga. In my humble opinion, kasi mas madaling magpakita yung peaks at harshness doon compared dito sa Mylin. Itong si Mylin is ito yung parang warmer version nun. Yung warmer na mas makapal yung tunog na version nun. Mas all-rounder to, kahit anong genre itapon mo dito, okay lang. Madali lang din siya i-drive, hindi mo need tong 4.4. Pag inarte ko lang yan. Okay? Pero ayun, if gusto mo ng maporma, at the same time, willing kang gumastos ng 5,000 pesos sa IEM, and gusto mo ng bakal na IEM, itong Heidi Smilin is para sa'yo. Oo, lalo na kung halimbawa mahilig ka sa anime, mahilig ka sa mascot, mahilig ka sa so-called waifu, well, itong Mylin is merong fan service nun. Okay? Okay. Switch na ako sa Tagalog version ng nitong Heidi Smilin, ay English na verdict ng Mylin. Okay, so what's my verdict here with the Heidi Smilin? Well, definitely the Heidi Smilin is one of those all-rounder sets. Although this time, the Heidi Smilin amps it up like to the max for what it can do under 100 USD. It doesn't seem to like break any bar or step any bar or anything like that. But at the same time, it is far from being bad either. It is far from being worse. Actually, it is one of the more commendable sets that I recommend to everyone, that I can recommend to everyone, because it has the premium build quality, it has the premium cable, it has the interchangeable tuning filters, which apparently most people prefer, despite me saying that it doesn't really matter at all. But a lot of people actually prefer the tuning filters. Well, anyway, again, it has the better build quality, an all-rounder sound quality. It is easy to drive. It checks all the boxes for a very competent 100 USD IEM candidate. So, in my humble opinion, if you prefer Harman or almost Harman sounding IEMs or mild V-shape sounding IEMs that has a very good or very excellent build quality, when at the same time it has that very good implementation and probably pairing to your USB DAC amp or to your playlist, since this is an all-rounder set, the Heidi Smilin is for you. Definitely one of the most commendable IEMs under 100 USD. Okay. And now that ends my review for the Heidi Smilin. Again, I'd like to thank Heidi's for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively. English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Okay. Now, as for the next reviews, these came in the mail yesterday. So, as you can see here, yep, the Kiwi Ears Halcyon. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name, but yes, this is my first time. This is my first time listening to an IEM that has a MEMS driver, so that would be really interesting. I still have my quad-brid drivers, quad-brid driver IEM and some tri-brids here and there, so there's that. And there's also an IEM along the way. I can't speak of it yet, but yes, there is something along the way. Okay, and thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the channel. Okay, and see you on the next one. Isa pa? Last one.